Good morning, I'm Kristen McDonald and I am back to show you another breakfast recipe for the month of January. This recipe was born of two things my children love: peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and French toast. I'm going to make a peanut butter and jelly French toast for you, and I'm going to show you how to make a quick homemade strawberry jam as well. So I made half of the batch yesterday, so it would be ready for me to show you in the sandwich, but you could make this whole container of strawberries very easily. They kind of crumble down, mush down into this delicious jam. And actually we tried this for the first time when we went strawberry picking this past May, because we ended up with so many strawberries, and even though my kids like to eat them fresh, we thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to make our own strawberry jam? So yesterday the kids helped me cut up this entire container of strawberries. So this is a 2-pound container, and I made 1 pound, and it boiled down to this amount right here. I'm going to put the other pound just in a saucepan after the leaves have been cut off, the tops have been cut off, and these have been cut into rough pieces. You could make these smaller if you like. I kind of like having a big chunk of strawberry in there, so I let them just do whatever shape they want, but I would at least quarter the strawberries. But then one of the recipes I've consulted has actually said you can kind of mush them down, and I don't do that, and it comes out just fine. So then for half of that 2-pound container, I will use half of a lemon. So 1 pound of strawberries, half of the juice of 1 lemon. And another thing I've done with some of the recipes I've consulted is reduce the amount of sugar. I'm always looking to reduce how much added sugar my children and myself are eating. And so the whole recipe originally called for 2 cups of sugar to 1 pound, and I decided to try it with 1 cup of sugar to 1 pound, and it comes out just fine. I mean, this is not a jam that I'm looking to can and preserve for a long period of time. I just put it, once it's boiled down, into a glass jar, and I put it in my fridge, and you can see that it's pretty solid. It's going to be solid enough to spread and hold up in this sandwich here. So I think that there is plenty of sugar. You just add the 3 ingredients to the pot, and you get it going over high heat. You kind of get it to a rolling boil for about 20 minutes to half an hour, and then you let it cool a bit, put it in the glass jar, and put it in the fridge. And it's delicious on toast in the morning, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and also in this recipe. So I will get that boiling. I'll give it a little stir here. And that's all I would do, is just keep an eye on it for about 20 minutes and keep stirring it every once in a while. You'll see that the strawberries let off a lot of their own juice and boil down, and they make this delicious jam. So now for the peanut butter and jelly French toast, I have 2 pieces of whole grain sandwich bread. I choose a whole grain, a whole wheat, or a multigrain, and I look for something that has no sugar added, or no high fructose corn syrup, and a limited amount of sugar added. Again, reducing how much extra sugar my kids get and seizing the opportunity to give them some of their servings of whole grains. Oh, this flame is really going over here. I'm going to turn down just a little bit. They're already kind of bubbling away. So I'll just take probably about 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and spread it on the one side of the bread, just like you would make any other peanut butter and jelly sandwich, except this one is going to be extra yummy. And then I'm going to take some of this delicious jam that I made. And it has those really great whole strawberries. This is really excellent to do if you have the opportunity to go strawberry picking. But I was able to pick up that large container in my grocery store also. So just another activity to keep ourselves busy this winter and get your kids interested in helping with preparing produce for meals. I'm gonna try it. And if you have children who are allergic to peanuts, you could always try this with a sunflower seed butter, or you could also make this French toast by spreading cream cheese on one half of the bread and using the strawberry jam. I have had French toast like that out at a restaurant, like a strawberry cream cheese stuffed French toast. And that's really what you're making here, is kind of like a stuffed French toast. So I have my sandwich ready to go, and you saw that the jelly is pretty solid and spreads nicely. Then I'm just gonna take one egg, and using a flat dish like this is really helpful with this recipe because it lets you get the French toast dipped nicely. I'm gonna scramble up that egg and add a 1/4 cup of milk. A lot of French toast recipes call to use heavy cream. I have found that you don't need to do that. I used whole milk. I have made it with skim milk before, so whatever milk you have in the fridge, you can use. The whole milk is gonna give it a little bit of a creamier custard-like consistency. And I'm just gonna do a little sprinkle of cinnamon. I tend to like that in my French toast batter. So that is all mixed up, and I'm gonna place the sandwich just inside. And I kind of poke the bread when I'm making French toast. This allows the egg mixture to seep into the bread. So I'm poking on this side. And I try to soak up as much as possible. Both the peanut butter and the egg are great sources of protein, which is important to start the day for ourselves and for our kids. Protein is kind of, when I used to work with clients in nutrition counseling, I always kind of told them protein is an anchor. It sort of stabilizes our hunger. And so if it's going to be a little while till snack time, or if you don't want your kids asking you for a snack immediately after breakfast, trying to make sure they get some good protein at that meal is very important. Okay, so my bread has soaked up a lot of this. And I'm going to bring the whole thing over to a pan where I have just a little bit of butter heating up. I'm going to try to get it in without it falling apart. The egg mixture makes the bread a little fragile. All right, so I used my fingers and I got it in there. I'm going to turn the heat up, and it's going to cook for a couple minutes on either side. I'm going to show you these strawberries too. They are already really cooking away. So you can see they let off a lot of their own juices. That sugar is dissolving. That's what you want. You want the sugar to dissolve down. The lemon juice just kind of adds a fresh pop. And I'm going to let them they will boil down more. They get to be a deeper red color. They kind of lose that white appearance in the middle. And again, about 20 minutes to half an hour on this high heat. My French toast is sizzling over here. Another thing my kids enjoyed helping with yesterday was to get the juice out of a lemon. I would take the whole lemon and I was rolling it, and they enjoyed rolling it across the counter. And you could actually smell the aroma of the lemon as you're doing that and kind of breaking up the juices. That just makes it easier to squeeze out that juice once you cut the lemon in half. And you want to make sure that you are not getting any lemon seeds in your strawberry jam as well. Now here my French toast sizzling. I'm going to check on it. It probably needs a couple minutes on either side. Still needs a little time. So it looks like I probably would have enough here to do another piece of French toast. And I know sometimes my kids, they used to be very into eating eggs, but they've gotten a little bit more finicky about eating just a scrambled egg. And when I make French toast, sometimes if they can kind of see that egginess, it can turn them off a little bit too. So you can also use your judgment on how much egg you want the bread to soak up. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of egg. It could be just enough to kind of moisten that bread. And again, whatever it's able to soak up is going to be a good source of protein for breakfast in the morning. All right, so this, you have to be careful when you're flipping it because it is fragile, but you just kind of want it to have a golden brown appearance on the outside, and I'll show that to you when it's done on the other side. And it starts to sort of solidify, and you may see that the peanut butter and the jelly start to ooze out a little bit, and it's almost like they make their own syrup. I don't serve syrup with this French toast because of that stuffing that it has. So give it just a minute here and then we'll serve it up. I'll show you the strawberries one more time while we're waiting. Again, they're really bubbling away and they give off quite a bit of liquid, and you may think, oh gosh, how is that going to get solid? But because of all the sugar, it makes that jammy consistency. And again, a glass jar is great. If you don't have a glass jar, a Tupperware will be fine. You just want to let it cool down before you put it in that plastic container to store it in the fridge. Even a glass bowl like the one I have here, this is sort of a variation on a Tupperware or a plastic storage container. I have a plastic lid that goes on this, and this would be a good option to store your jam in the fridge as well. All right, let's serve up the French toast here. I'm going to use my fork to help me get it out of the pan. So you can see it really did stay the peanut butter and the jelly inside. It's going to be nice and melty and almost be like a syrup for this French toast. There are 2 pieces of bread, and you've got this delicious batter that has got this golden brown look to it. Let's take a bite. Delicious with that homemade jam. I love the flavor. You get big pieces of strawberry, which is really nice because a lot of times in a store-bought jam you're not going to have that large piece of strawberry and remember what fruit it came from. The peanut butter is delicious, and the bread is really yummy and gooey as well. So I hope you and your kids love this new breakfast recipe, peanut butter and jelly French toast.